Hello and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen. Channel that brings you your team every single day, brings you all the latest news updates, brings you all the latest transfer rumours, speculation, club announcements, games during the season, podcasts, so much content, all for the grand price of absolutely nothing. All you've got to do is hit that sub, ring that notification bell, and if you can give this video a like, guys, it would be massively appreciated. And you can join the channel for only 99p now. Hit the join button below or head over to the homepage to get that 99p deal. Well, we have some news about Cyriel Dessers. That's right, Cyriel Dessers, the striker who is and was apparently on his way to Rangers to join up with Sam Lammers, the striker already signed. Rangers obviously had that initial bid rejected. They went back in, and it seemed that the negotiations were progressing well, and it seemed like there was a good, strong chance that Dessers would sign within the next sort of week or so, week to 10 days. He would be arriving in Glasgow to sign for Rangers. Obviously, there were some fans that had doubts about Dessers with his stats, and we'll just remind you of those later on in the video. But the main news tonight, though, or this evening even, sorry, or this afternoon, depending on when you're picking up the video, is that Cyriel Dessers has now said no to a transfer to Rangers, and he prefers to stay in Italy. That is the news story coming out of Italy tonight. A number of obviously well-respected Italian media sources are reporting this. Gazzetta dello Sport, for example, a number of Italian sports newspapers are backing up this story. The 28-year-old has, according to all reports, turned down a move to Scotland. It's a big blow for Rangers, obviously, who'd invested a lot of time and effort in negotiating with Dessers, and it seemed that Michael Beale had identified Cyriel Dessers as a guy who could come and score the goals for Rangers this coming season. But it seems that today he has turned down that move. The Cremonese forward, who was probably one of, if not the top target up front for Michael Beale. Beale really did want to get him in before the pre-season started on the 30th of June. That was obviously the intention around this move, to get Dessers and get him in now, hence the negotiations. But apparently Dessers now would favour a move back up to Serie A. Now, reportedly earlier in the week, Torino were interested in securing the services of Dessers. Now, whether there's any truth in that, we don't actually know. But we do know that he does not want to come to Glasgow. Now, look, at the end of the day, if he doesn't want to come, he doesn't want to come. That's fine. I'm not criticising him for that. I don't want players who don't want to be here. At the end of the day, I want players who want to play for the club. We don't want hostages. We want volunteers. We want people who want to fight for the club. We want people who want to go out there and fight for the jersey every single week. Not people who are just here for the money, or people who are just here because they feel there's no other options. We want them to be here because they want to be at the club. And it seems, obviously, if Dessers doesn't want to be here, then you know what? We don't want him at the club. Now, we have already signed Sam Lammers. Antonio Cholak is obviously on the books, but there's obviously doubts about his future. Kemar Roof is another one, but obviously fitness is a big problem for him. Sakala can also play up front, but that pretty much is it in terms of centre forwards. Now, obviously, I know there was a number of you out there had severe doubts about Cyriel Dessers in terms of his ability and his talent. His stats, were last season 39 appearances, 10 goals, 2 assists. Hardly absolutely fantastic. He did do very well at Feyenoord, however, scoring 10 goals in the Europa Conference League. He did do very well there. But like I said, he has now turned down the move, which really does show that Rangers are now back to the drawing board, or so it seems, on the signing of a forward. Yesterday, obviously, it was revealed that Rangers don't want to sign Tassos Duvakis. Look, we've all got our own opinions on things, and lots of fans have different opinions on who you want, why you want them, etc., etc. But Tassos Duvakis not going for him. I know he's £7 million, and that's a lot of money to pay for a player, but centre forwards are not cheap. They aren't cheap, and I think the fact the club are not moving for Duvakis is a mistake, especially if he does move to that lot across the city. Apparently, there is an interest there from them, and it could be a move that comes back to haunt us if we don't move. If we, obviously not moving for him. His record: 38 appearances this season, 22 goals, 4 assists. That's 26 goal contributions in 38 games. That's pretty spot on. Much better than Dessers and Lammers. And I know obviously there was a difference between the Eredivisie and Serie A. But it does really put Rangers back to square one. Now, obviously, there is people talking about the possible arrival of Josh Maja, but that situation remains complicated with the ongoing situation in France. Now, At this moment in time, obviously, he will be likely released, but there's also the possibility that the Rangers could face a tribunal. We all know we love a court case, but a few months down the line and we end up paying 4 or 5 million for him. That is another possibility, apparently. So could that be something that puts Rangers off moving for Josh Maja? With the fact that Cyriel Dessers is now not coming, it really does put the onus back on Michael Beale, back on the coaching the coaching staff and also the scouting team to go out and find a centre forward, because I don't want to be going into next season with Cholak, Lammers, Roof and Sakala as our centre forward. They are not 4 centre forwards that are going to win you a league title and are going to win 56 or win a cup or do well in the Champions League. That is 4 centre forwards who are going to struggle to do it. Cholak, I get it, his quality and may get 15 to 20 a season, but we do need someone prolific. And now that Dessers' move seems to have fallen through, Rangers are really back to square one. We'd love to know where, yes, they may be negotiating with people. I get that. And obviously, the Maja deal is a possibility. And I know Bill, though, wants people in before the 30th of June. So where do the club go from here? This is something that is really going to cause a lot of column inches, cause a lot of discussion amongst Rangers fans now that it seems that Cyriel Dessers will not be joining the club and has decided to stay in Serie A. Like I said, where do we go from here? Divakis is off the table, apparently, maybe because of the cost. Maja, I think, will not be available till perhaps July time. So again, you've got that situation where perhaps he misses some of the preseason, which is not great for settling a striker in and getting him to play with the team. Who else is out there? Lawrence Shankland, is another one. Perhaps that's worth, having a punt on him. The guy scores goals in the SPL. Maybe he wouldn't do it in Europe, but then in Chris Boyd did. And Chris Boyd, scored goals in the SPL, wasn't great in Europe. So there is, I think, a real need to get back to the drawing board and sooner rather than later. So Michael Beale and the coaching staff and the scouting staff need to move very quickly now to identify a new target and identify a quality target who's going to come in and get us those 25 goals a season. This is a blow, obviously, to our transfer business. The fact that we wanted to get these deals done quickly, get these players in, this is a blow. Some of you may be relieved that he's not coming. We had to obviously reserve judgment on him, trust Michael Beale. Beale obviously saw something in the player, like he does with Sam Lammers. So we have to obviously trust Michael Beale's judgment. But obviously the news today is that he will not be joining Glasgow Rangers. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this news and where you'd like to see the club go next in terms of centre forwards. Like I said, my real worry is that they don't, and we end up with just the centre forwards we've got at the club now. Well, thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. It's been a busy day since I've got back from work. Lots of videos, lots of content, lots of things happening in what was going to be a quiet week, according to many. Anyway, thank you for watching, and remember always, we are the people.